Hello everyone! Can't believe I just said that. Oh my god. Okay, so I am not a maladaptive daydreamer anymore. I am now an immersive daydreamer, meaning that my daydreams don't interfere with my daily life. I can focus on work, I can focus on taking care of myself, I can focus on my recovery, I can focus on relationships and on friendships, family relationships, all that type of stuff, right? And honestly, it's making a massive difference, right? I'm an immersive daydreamer now. So what I do want to talk about in this video is how I went from being a maladaptive daydreamer to being an immersive daydreamer. All right, so what I can do now is usually at night to calm myself down and to just take a bit of a break, you know, I pop in some earbuds, AirPods, is that what they're called? I'm old, I don't know. And then I'm just gone, right? So I do have to mention this, a quick disclaimer. I do still get triggered by media, right? Music, if I like a song that I haven't heard before, then it's my maladaptive daydream it still wants to get there, you know? If I watch a movie, I sort of feel like, oh damn, this is something I really need to think about, or a series or something, right? I gotta enter those daydreams. But it doesn't happen anymore with music that I know, which is quite an interesting thing that I've noticed recently. So if I know the song, then I don't get triggered. I can sing along to the lyrics and everything and just enjoy the music for what it is. And it is absolutely fantastic. Right, so it has been a while. I haven't made any notes, so I'm just winging this, but I hope that I actually cover everything, right? So first thing I did, okay, therapy. Now, the first problem that a lot of people will think about is, I can't afford therapy, all right? Okay, it's understandable, but don't let that stop you from researching therapists, both online and in your area, right? Just get an idea, reach out to them if they don't have their prices for sessions listed on their websites. Reach out to them. You don't have to mention that you're a maladaptive daydreamer, but either way, if you do the research, if you just get an idea, if you just take that first step, then that is already plenty enough, right? Then you know what you're working towards in the future. Maybe you can talk to some other people who could help you out with finances, right? That's what it's like for me. So I don't go to therapy every week. I go to therapy once every 2 weeks to save on those finances, because therapy's expensive. It's expensive, okay? But yes, I've been in therapy for a little over a year now, and my therapist, he focuses a lot on DBT skills. I think also a combination of other things like CBT and all of that. But DBT skills help me to identify my emotions, which is something that I've been struggling with, especially after years and years of using, right? I was on THC, I was an addict, I'm still an addict, which is why I'm in recovery and why I'm working this NA and MA program, and I will always be an addict, right? I'm never graduating from Narcotics Anonymous or Marijuana Anonymous. I'll always have to go to meetings, I'll always have to put in the work. And just so, by the way, another disclaimer, I am not affiliated with NA or MA in any way, shape or form. I'm just a member, right? That's something that I'll talk about in a different video, but I just wanted to say that for now. So basically, therapy really helped me to, firstly, understand my emotions and identify my emotions. Because I remember in the past, if my therapist asked me, a different therapist, if she asked me, what am I feeling? I wouldn't be able to tell her. I'd just say, I feel normal, right? And that's not normal. So now I can actually say, well, I'm feeling a little emotional right now. I'm feeling a little depressed. I'm feeling a little sad, all that type of stuff. And that's thanks to those DBT skills, the emotion wheels, all of that. I know some people don't like it, but those all help me, right? Therapy, very good, especially in helping me build an identity and figuring out who I am, what I want to work on in life, and what's important to me, right? So therapy, first thing. Secondly, I went to see, well, it's technically the same place, but I went to see someone who specializes in autism and ADHD, and I got diagnosed. I did the assessments for both of them, and I got my diagnosis. So I got my autism diagnosis first, then I got my ADHD diagnosis. So I'm AUDHD, right? And it was quite interesting because when I spoke to the assessor, I told her, look, but I'm not hyperactive. I can sit still, it's fine. I just can't focus. And she told me, well, you know, it sounds like you don't have the hyperactive physical ADHD, but you have inattentiveness, inattentive ADHD. So the hyperactivity is in your brain. And I was like, damn, that actually makes a whole lot of sense. So yeah, basically I've been dealing with these diagnoses because, you know, as a kid, this whole story floated around through like parents, social media thing, I can't remember, but parents were often told that ADHD and autism are just, people are being diagnosed for money, and people are being incorrectly diagnosed. Don't get me wrong, that does happen, but chances are that it doesn't, right? It happens in very few instances. So I've had a lot of work to do. I had a lot to figure out about myself, and I did. And by getting those diagnoses, I could actually start to find supportive communities, find the research that works for me, that actually makes sense to me. And finally, I didn't feel like there was just simply something wrong with me, right? I could actually put a name to everything that I'm feeling in a day, that I'm going through. And now I can also explain that to people, which comes in handy with things like relationships, right? I have a partner now, so I could tell him, this is what I have, right? So if I behave in a certain way, or if I react to something in a certain way, then that is simply my ADHD or ADHD, whichever way you say it. And that is how we can communicate, and we can work through issues and through problems and things that might happen that could affect me, and likewise for him as well. But seriously, getting those diagnoses, one of the best things that I could have done, right? So therapy, diagnoses. Thirdly, okay, medication. I restarted my sertraline 50 medication. Sertraline is an SSRI, it's an antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication, and it works for me. Here's the thing about medication. A lot of people think that you take medication and it just fixes all your problems. That's not how it works. Medication works on the chemical, molecular, whatever you want to call it, level in your brain, in your body, and it does what it's supposed to do. It's not going to fix all your problems. You still have to put in the work. You still have to exercise. You still have to practice positive and good habits. You still have to do things that will make you feel healthy, right? You still have to put in the work. The medication just does what the medication is designed to do. So that's why a lot of people, they build up a tolerance without doing anything else in their lives, right? Anything that's healthy or anything like that, they just keep living the same life. That's the thing, you gotta make those changes, right? Eat healthy, get enough sleep, right? All that type of stuff. That is when the medication starts to actually work, right? Secondly, I'm on ADHD medication, atomoxetine, because I'm an addict, so I can't take something like Ritalin. Okay, people use, like, being an addict, I've heard all of these war stories about people crushing up Ritalin and snorting that. The interesting thing is that a lot of people who do use Ritalin or other mind-altering substances that are actually medications, they somewhat feel normal. They feel normal when they do that. When it comes to medication and when it comes to therapy and all those types of things, you have to do what you believe is right. These are things that worked for me personally. You and I are not the same person. We are not clones of each other. We live completely different lives. We do relate on the term of, let's say, or on the topic rather, of maladaptive and immersive daydreaming. Right, so we can relate about things, but we don't live the same lives. So at the end of the day, you have to do what works for you and what's best for you. Okay, just because medication works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. It depends on your life, it depends on your circumstances, your environment, your support system, people around you, all that type of stuff, right? Whether you can afford it, I think that's a big one for a lot of people as well. And at the end of the day, you are the main character of your own life, right? That parame that we always have, the parame in our heads, right? That's you. It starts with you. You have to do what's right for you. Okay. Number 4, have a very, very good, that's 3. 4. I did go to school, I promise. Number 4, I have a very, very good physician. So my support in terms of physical and mental health are very good. And both of these professionals understand my financial situation. They understand my personal situation, and they work with me. Now, another thing that I want to mention here, because a lot of people do have stories where they say, okay, well, this doctor treated me like trash, and this doctor told me this, and I disagree with that, and that mental health professional told me this, and I disagreed with that. Listen, finding the right mental health professional and medical professional for you is a bit like shopping, right? You have to go into that store, maybe look around a bit, look at the prices, look at the quality of the food, and then you go to another store and you're like, oh shit, but this is actually way better for me, right? Maybe you don't like the first store, so you go to a different store. That's the same, okay, sorry, I don't mean to compare people who have studied their entire lives to grocery stores, but it's the best like comparison that I can make here. If someone doesn't work for you, you have to find someone else. Okay, so a lot of times people use the excuse where they say, okay, but I don't like this person, and therefore all psychologists or all therapists or all doctors. That's not how it is. Different people, different manners of treatment. That's the important thing. The 5th thing that I want to just mention, okay, patience with myself. Here's the thing, and this is something that I also learned very heavily in my recovery, is having patience and not wanting things to change right away. It's a slow progress, one day at a time, one step at a time. That's how things change. But things will only change if you remain consistent in what you're doing. Okay, it's not about hard work. It's not about working yourself to death. It's not about putting all of your money into one type of thing. Okay? It's not about burning yourself out. If you feel like you need a break, you just need to chill for a bit, that's fine. Trust. Trust the progress. Trust the process, I meant. Same difference to me, right? You gotta trust that healing takes time. So maybe you're gonna be frustrated the first few times that you go to speak to a mental health professional. Maybe you're gonna get really angry at your doctor because you just don't understand why they're saying these things to you. But listen to them, right? Maybe be like, okay, let me trust you. Let's see where things go. Unless you know for a fact that it's not gonna work for you. But also trust. Trust and patience go hand in hand. So that patience, right? I didn't feel the difference in the way that I feel in my body and the way that I perceive the world in therapy after 3 months, right? Only now, about a year later, I'm like, damn, yeah, a lot of change has been happening and I'm quite happy with it. Right, so I don't want to ramble for ages on and on and on. This is what I did to bring myself onto the right path and to start my journey of actually getting this MD thing out of my head. When I say MD, I mean maladaptive daydreaming. I don't mean medical doctor or melodramatic or Monday. Yeah, so I do hope that this video helps some of you. I hope that someone can take something from this, even if it's just the ability to understand that it's never too late, it's never the end. There's always an answer out there, right? It's just about remaining persistent, seeking your answers, no matter how dark your days get, no matter how much you're struggling, help is out there. And I know what it's like when people tell you this, right? And they're like, oh, but you're not alone, help is out there, blah, blah, blah. You don't feel that way. That's what makes it difficult. But give yourself a chance. Believe in yourself, trust yourself, right? You're still alive, you're still breathing. That means there's something out there for you. Like, I believe 100% that MD can be quote unquote cured, right? Not necessarily cured, that's actually the wrong term, but we do have support for that. We do have help out there. Even if people don't understand it, or if they've never heard of it in their lives, you can just mention it to your therapist or to your psychiatrist, psychologist, doctor. Just mention it, right? It's their job to go and research that stuff. If they don't want to research it, then, well, that's on them, right? Find a different one who will, because there are a lot of people out there who are curious and who do take new information seriously. So, with that said, I do hope you enjoyed the video. I'm very happy to be back, and I hope that these videos will help some of you, even if it's just in terms of relatability, right? Even if you can just relate to my story, relate to what I'm saying, that's good enough. So please do stick around, keep going, trust yourself. You got this. Not to be all cringe and whatnot, but you do got this, all right? So yeah, take care of yourself, because you matter in this world. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, because they're lying. You got this. All right, take care. Peace. See you in the next one.